Hey guys, good morning. It is September 16th, about 8:30 a.m. You guys will probably get this video open and viewable around 9 o'clock. I don't know why it takes so long for these to download on YouTube, but looking at DraftKings it looks interesting here to continue this move. Price target is probably around 56 now, 57. I'm not saying it's going to do that in a few days, but we seem to have righted ourselves in the direction that it wants to go. I expect continued volatility. It's very news oriented and news susceptible. Interesting thing is if you look at things on like a candle based regular standard trend, you can kind of see a little bit of an indecision move yesterday, some sideways consolidation, intraday back and forth, up and down. A little bit of a break from the previous high, but nothing spectacular. I expect this to continue to be volatile, but I expect it to be volatile all the way up into the 56s. We have a nice channel set up there now, and if you look at that and you change it to a Hekinashi candle, which kind of extrapolates information from the prior candle based on volume weighted pricing, meaning that if it's selling on low volume and buying on high volume, look at you print a green candle. So nice moves on DraftKings, continuing to look for 56 to 57 on that one, but don't buy it today thinking it's going to hit there right away. I expect some ups and downs in that. IPOB was our focus yesterday, and you can see that the reason why it turned out to be the right one to pick out of all the different stocks I was looking at. Had a nice little discernible move intraday yesterday, and you can see the little break that I had charted there intraday. We're back on Hekinashi, so let's get to regular candles. Not that it makes much of a difference, but you can see the little pivot break there. You see the volume increase at the pivot break. You see the MACD start to turn up right there at the pivot break. So everything said right there was the directional change. If you got in around the 15 to 55 like I did, as it started to pull up here, you got a nice move up to the 18s. Even if you sold before then, or you just kind of set a stop on this pullback, retest, and you can kind of put it back in here around 1560. At the very least, have a break even, and then you catch that nice move and just sell into the close. So IPOB was a nice move today. It's down a little bit in pre-market. It actually could go down and test that pivot there at the 1550 area. But obviously there's another support level around 1590. What was the other one we were playing with yesterday? I think Sava was one they looked at, saying the buy looked interesting around the 670 to 690 area. And what did it do? It went from 663 and kind of based, and then got all the way back up to 740. More of a scalp. I'm surprised it got that low, which is a little bit concerning to me. So I'm kind of avoiding it for now. One I am watching is MRNS. Had some good news came out. I didn't chase it. I was watching it kind of break down intraday, different levels that it was starting to break. Channel levels it would break and then break. These are 5-minute charts, so maybe it might be a little bit more easy to see that what I'm looking at if we did 1-minute charts, but I might not pick up a 1 minute on that time frame. But in any case, it's interesting because it's kind of holding this $3 area that we saw as the low right before. Actually, that's the low before it took off, was just below $3 and $2.98, and then it fired up to $4 and change, and then it pulled all the way back, and then now we're kind of retesting in pre-market the $3, and then we kind of retested it again, and now we're kind of bouncing up a little bit above $3. So I'm wondering on a daily 1 year, is this going to be one that is kind of broken away from its trading range and then is going to consolidate before breaking, and then maybe breaking that $4 price range? Only time will tell, but if we look at it, let me see here. It's got some prior history, I believe, of higher prices. I'm not 100% sure. Let's find out right now. Yeah, it does. I mean, it could get up to, I would say that 6 is like a pivot area of a prior breakdown on this one, maybe low 6s. So it'll be interesting to see if it does that. I mean, it's come from under $1, so it's had quite a nice move. We had a triple bottom there around 96 cents, and then we fire up in the gap. But let's see if it can kind of hold this, and maybe it makes for a little bit more interesting trade. It'll be interesting to see if it does start to curl up and attack that unusual chart pattern, though, for a continuation move on a stock like that. Tesla's down a little bit. It's been a good one to buy on pullbacks. Today, obviously, is a huge IPO market opening of Snowflake. I think it's going to be so overbought and stretched at the opening that it might not be worth chasing. It certainly wouldn't be a buy and hold for me. What I'm actually going to focus on is a company called I think it's called Metacrene Inc., MTCR. I think they do a treatment. It's a biotech for, it's a pharma company based. Their technology is geared around treating liver diseases that are not alcohol related. So seems to be a growing area in the market for some reason. People seem to be having liver disease that is not associated with alcohol. Who knows what the cause of that is? But MTCR might be one to actually watch while everybody's focused on snowflakes. So I'll probably be focusing on Mary, Tom, Charlie, Romeo instead. JNUG continues to look interesting on pullbacks here. We got a little pullback yesterday that I traded. You'll probably see my trades. I'm a little disappointed, and I want to get to that. That'll be my closing kind of comments. Is that my trading hasn't been fantastic lately. I did catch a little move. Actually, I didn't play the wedge. I actually played this pullback here. And if you look at this on a intraday with the VWAP, you can kind of see once we double bottom, we started bouncing along the lower channel of the VWAP. And when you start to pull away from the VWAP, it becomes a little bit more interesting for me, and then I can kind of set a stop in. It's not a 100% guarantee, but I did set the stop, and I sold it along the channel line here, and then it pulled back again and then fired up. So I definitely missed some further extended movements in JNUG. And today they're gapping it up just a little bit, 165, 166, which is kind of where it topped out. So maybe another pullback. And then a pullback maybe to the 161 area, and then we probably blow through the 165 and get up into the 168, 169, because we are looking for higher prices here. But it's hard to say. Gold can be very tricky, and we've had a nice move from the consolidation low that we just saw recently. SPY, yesterday I was expecting it to break the 324 or 342.40 intraday and then reverse. So we didn't get the 342.40, but we did get the 342, and then it reversed intraday. So I was kind of short SPY intraday yesterday, and you can see a little breakdowns, but these are not short and holds. You can see it kind of triple topped up there around 342, and then I took a short position at 341.80, I think it was, and it broke the VWAP, and I just covered in this area here, leaving more on the table. So interesting action in SPY here as we got above the 342.40 in pre-market, and then we're dropping back down again. It's a really neutral stance here technically on SPY. I think there has been a definitive high put in the market recently. I don't like the action off the channel level on the bottom, so I'm a little skeptical here that we can continue to push higher. Could it get back above the 342.40? Absolutely. But we'll take a look at that if it does and discern whether that's something that we do want to take a small short position and hold, looking for more volatility. But it's so hard to hold these things these days. Peloton, somebody asked me yesterday if they should hold it. I said it probably gets up to 88, and I'd probably be a seller at least in most of your position. We got to 88.50 yesterday, so hopefully my subscriber took some money off the table at 88. I'm not saying it can't go back up and recapture that area and then go higher. I'm just saying that in this market, it's good to take some profits along the way for sure. Anything else that we're looking at this morning? Kodak in the news. I'm not really too keen on that. Nikola has been a hot topic lately. Like I said, where there's smoke, there's fire. I'm a little concerned about that one. Nikola's a really interesting story, man. That really could turn into another Enron for some of you older guys. Like, I don't really know what's going to come out of this SEC investigation, but this could be a huge story for Nikola. And I know GM's gapping up this morning, so I might take a short position in GM with a stop above that 35 area, but we'll see. But yeah, Nikola, wow. Not a good story. I'd be a little bit nervous if I was a holder of Nikola, NKLA. So those are the trades to look at this morning. Trying to see what else is active in the news. Obviously, Tesla Apple Day was yesterday, and I shorted Apple, and I got stopped out. And it would have been a nice trade intraday. But Apple was so whippy yesterday. When it broke the VWAP, when it broke the VWAP here, I shorted it. And, my stop was just above that area, and I got stopped out, I think, at like 116.20. And I could have I had 200 shares short, very tight stop, and I could have caught a nice move. Another $300 I would have made, but These are crazy moves, which comes to my closing comment is that when the market is kind of elevated like this, and we're not having, if you're having some not so great trading intraday, sometimes I'll look at a particular stock that I want to trade, and these guys know, the professional traders know where people put their stops, especially if they're short on the upper end. I think sometimes when you look at a stock and you say, okay, here's where I'm going to enter, here's where my stop is going to be if I'm going long, and here's my sell target. If you don't think about it ahead of time and you take that stop position, that level for your stop as your buy level, you can get some interesting trades, because it's almost like a psychological thing. If you were to see a double bottom here and you say, okay, I'm going to take a position, but my stop is going to be 113.90, maybe instead of buying here and then expecting a move to the upside on the double bottom, buy it where you would have set your stop at 113.90. A lot of guys know that once it breaks this level, it's going to get washed out, and they buy it there, and then you can sell into it. It's kind of a weird thing, and it's hard to wrap your head around it. But instead of using your buys and then your stops, use your stop as your buy. But don't think too hard about it ahead of time, or you're going to kind of reverse the trade in your head. But look at a stock, chart. Say, okay, I want to buy it here. My stop's going to be down here. Change it. It's hard to do. Sometimes you're going to miss some moves, but more than often you're going to avoid losses. And it seems like for me, if I could just remove 2 or 3 of my losses a week, my trading would be so much better. So I need to practice what I preach. So hopefully that helps you guys out. It's something that I need to practice and do myself more often. So good luck today, and we'll check in later.